Hi there, Robin here from Expert On. Today we're going to be talking about Mackie's new monitors, their CR8X series. The particular ones we have on the table today are the 8-inch. So if you're looking for something to have between 5 and 8 feet away, let's say, in your studio space or rec room, this would be a really good way to go. Big thing about it is bang for the buck. They're not the cheapest ones, but they are probably one of the best ones in their price category. And that's because they put an awful lot into the speaker, and they turn around and use one amp and then share the power with the other speaker, which is not a bad way to go because it definitely helps with the price point. And if you do a good job with the box, which they do, and you do a good job putting a good driver package set in the front, which they do, and the right combination of features in the back, it's all going to come together really, really well. This model now features Bluetooth on it, so for folks that want to use it not just for a studio set, but actually want to use it for all kinds of other things, great way to go. So besides having it in your studio, you can have it in your rec room. If you're a gamer, crazy set of speakers to have as a gamer. If you're just using it so you can watch better YouTube and listen to it really well, that's the way to go. If you're doing a lot of stuff on your computer and you're going to have a set of speakers in the room with you and you want to be able to wirelessly get to it so you can watch your Netflix or Disney Channel or anything like that, and you want to really enjoy the sound, that's the kind of speaker. Now, if you are using it for a studio, it's good to have either an audio interface or to have something like we have here, which is an audio interface, but just for playing back music. It can be off of any software program you have in your computer. This will let you play it back. We happen to be having the one from M Audio here today. We'll feature it down below in the links. But this allows me to simply do this, pick anything I want, hit play, turn up the knob. The reason why I use an audio interface to play back music is because I want to have the best possible audio quality coming out of my laptop and going to the speakers. There's 1/4-inch cables that I'm going to have coming out of here, plugging into the back. So we'll take a closer look at the back in a minute, but we'll cover all the other features. Like I said earlier, 8-inch drivers. If you're playing music with bass, it's going to play back exactly what you put into it. So if you're a studio editing and you're doing a lot of work with your music that you've just created, you want to make sure you hear it the way you recorded it. And that's what's going to happen here. So if you add bass to it, or you take away bass, or you sharpen up the highs, you're going to hear it off of these speakers. If you're listening to music that's already done, so you're listening to Spotify, you're listening to anything else, or your playlist, it's going to bring that right to life the way it's supposed to be. So if you want to edit it, if you want to put more into it, you're going to have to do it on the computer end. There's no like boost button or bass and treble control on it because that's not the intent of these speakers. When you use an audio interface with the speakers, you're going to expand the quality of the audio. The speakers can take it as long as you have something to deliver that sound to the speakers. So that's pretty much it when it comes to quality. Quality is also going to be noted on the amp plate, so we'll take a closer look at the amp plate next. So here we are, a close-up look at what's going on in the back of the speakers. We'll notice one's passive, speaker cables only, coming across to the powered model. Now passive out. Some people do ask, should I upgrade the cables that come with it? I mean, I wouldn't go any more than a 14-gauge cable, not to worry too much about it. Ported in the rear, the amazing part here is this port actually goes right through the amp plate to reach out to the front. The speaker setup itself, here's our 1/4-inch, which can be balanced or unbalanced, your choice, TR/TRS connections available here, followed by the RCA, which are going to always be unbalanced, of course, because they're RCA. And then we have a 3.5 connection. Now remember, this must be unbalanced as well, which basically means we're going to go from either a 3.5 to 3.5, like our headphone jacks, or we're going to go from here to a set of RCA cables, again unbalanced. Then you get to choose, your speaker can either be on the left or right side when it comes to the power speaker, so this way you can keep it as convenient and simple as possible, and it'll always sound just right for you. Outside of that, everything else pretty standard. It's got the safety specs on it, power switch on the back. Front side of it is where the actual on, off, and volume knob is located. Plus, we also have that Bluetooth on the front side. Outside of that, nothing more really to talk about back here. Again, The material, really well built. Overall design, really well set up. Straightforward, easy to operate. Now, for those people who go and say, well, you know, why wouldn't I get one that has 2 amp plates on it? And there's nothing wrong with buying models that have, you know, individual. They sell the speakers as a single, and then you buy a second one and you can link them, that sort of thing. Or you wire them independently. What they're doing here is, instead of charging an extra $100, $200, $300 more to have a second amp plate on this unit, they incorporated everything onto this one unit, allowing this product to be slightly better value, which is probably why they become more popular, because you get more for less without compromising the sound quality that comes out of the front. So, well, I hope that helps. So we'll move on from there and take a closer look to the front. So we start from the bottom, work our way up. Here are the sponge mats I was talking about. There are 2 of them. That's why you can stick my finger between the 2 of them. Then we have our driver and our tweeter on top. And this is going to be our main volume knob and power switch. So you don't constantly have to go to the back and turn it off and on. You can just simply turn it on here, adjust your main output, and then run it off your audio interface or mixing board. No problem. Now, for convenience sake, they also put a headphone jack on here. So this way you can just plug straight into here, especially if you're using the headphone jack on your laptop or computer to run the speakers. You're not going to constantly unplug and replug that in. But again, I'd recommend an audio interface if you can, or a mixing board. That would always be best. Sticker that you can peel off after you bring it, unless you want to show off to your friends what you bought. Outside of that, remember this green here, though it feels like it's glowing right now, it's not powered. It's just, you know, nice green and it's like a neon color to it. Just looks cool. It's a Mackie thing. And then down here is where you have the Bluetooth. So if you do want to push to engage, it will light up for you. So now we give it power. I've turned it on in the back. Now I've turned it on in the front. Our light's indicating here it's in pairing mode. If I press and hold that, we can indicate. Eventually this will time out and stop with the pairing option. Once it's paired, I think it goes green and then it says you're good to go. That happens here. This is only here so it looks like a matching set. This does nothing because that's the passive speaker. And that's it. That's all you need to do. Outside of that, adjust your volume, turn it off just like that. Again, you don't have to turn the switch off the back unless you want to. So when we talk about power and overall, you know, how loud is it? How good is it? Well, size of monitors are proportionate to how far away you're going to be from the speaker. So yes, they have them from 3, 4, 5, and 8-inch speakers. They even have a subwoofer to go with it, which is phenomenal to add to any package you might have, even if it's not Mackie. Now, these are 160 watts as a pair, and normally when you look at 8-inch speakers, you're going to be like between 5 and 8 feet away in that kind of range. So they're definitely not just arm's reach away from you. They're much further than that. If you're going to have them right next to you on the desk, if they're right literally there at hand's reach, you can touch them. They're right side by side. 3-inch might cut it. I usually prefer to have people get into a 4-inch speaker because that's really where the sound quality is going to, because no matter what, it's got to, you know, fill the space around you. Then you get into a 5-inch, so if they're just past the arm's reach, so you can't reach them, but they're there at the corner of the desk, a 5-inch speaker will do. But if they're past that point, or you have them mounted up high or offset, definitely the 8-inch is really, really a great way to go. That being said, always have the speakers pointed towards you, and just if you were to create a triangle, you would want that triangle to be right to the back. You want to be just inside that triangle when it comes to the sound. So if I have it off to the left and right, facing towards me, but just so it meets up behind me. So this way I get good reflection at, well, my head, towards my ears. That's the point. All right. So we've taken a look at the back. We've taken a look at the front. This is our Bluetooth button here. When you press that, you will engage the Bluetooth. Real important note, because when you watch a lot of videos of the pre-model and now of this series here, you see that green trim all the way around. That doesn't light up. It may look like it's on, like it's glowing or something's going on. That's a trick of the camera. They don't light up. They do. The green is like a neon green, but it's just there, and it looks really cool, but it's not going to bother you. But when somebody looks at it, it's going to, ooh, look, that's a Mackie CR8X speaker. They'll know that. I'm not playing a lot of it with the microphone, and I'm going to demonstrate the why. Doesn't matter. Placement of the microphone is never going to reproduce the sound quality that this is going to do for you. Doesn't matter what you're listening to it on. If you're not in a showroom and you're not listening to it live, gotta take my word for it. If we talk about the drivers for a moment, you've got an 8-inch polypropylene with a rubber gasket on the outside, and then you've got a soft 3/4 inch tweeter on top. It's a fabric tweeter, so which is very important because if you're up close or close to a driver, I just find that if you have a hard, rigid tweeter, like a plastic or any type of material that's hard, they tend to be a lot sharper up close. For far, they're good. Up close, they tend to be a little stiff for the sound and very sharp on the ear. Best way I can probably describe it. With the soft tweeters, you get the same response, the same quality out of it, but the sharpness is taken off of it when you're close to the actual driver. So it just sounds smoother, it sounds better when you're up closer. Remember, we're not talking about changing frequency response. The overall sound is the same. It just feels more comfortable. So when we actually look at the box itself, how it's actually manufactured, the actual cabinet, it's a wood cabinet. This is to give it proper density, so this way the response is good. We're not going to get a lot of noise or a lot of Cobb effect, which is basically sound, music, whatever's playing out of the front, reverberating out of the sidewalls of the box, which would distort the quality and distort what we actually should be hearing. So none of that happens here. It's got a great finish. It's very clean. It's very smooth. It looks really nice, again, because you got to look at it if you're not using it. On the bottom, they include some foam pads. Two of them that are on an angle for both, so you can increase or decrease the actual level. So don't look for any rubber feet in the box when you buy it, because there are none. It's meant to go on the foam pads, so this way we're not going to transfer any sound. We're not going to hear, again, we're not going to hear noise from the table because this is vibrating, transfer to the table and create any artificial sounds. That's real important. Plus, it allows it to sit at the proper angle if it's really right in front of you. You can adjust them, you can spin them around, you can increase, decrease, or just have it straight out. So, nice there. They do include a couple of cables in the box. You get something like 3.5, so an auxiliary to RCA and RCA to RCA. They don't include anything like XLR 1/4 inch cables because depending on your setup is going to depend on the type of cables you're going to need. So that part, don't forget, if you need cables, you're going to need that. Software. It's amazing how much software that comes included with a set of speakers. They're really, really trying to give you everything you can get. So if you'd like to have a Pro Tools Lite edition, licensed edition, it's going to come included, plus a bunch of other things as well. So have a look down at the list. It's all there. It's an interesting thing that you get all of that with just some speaker monitors, but they do include all of that. At the end of the day, do I recommend the speakers? Recommend them so much that we are going to be carrying them in the store. I do like the concept of speakers, popularity. One of the most popular line of speakers I've ever seen on Amazon, for example, in the States. If you look, probably during the whole run of the CR series, so that was everything they had previous, that whole series for as many years, they had probably over 10,000 units sold. If you look at the reviews alone, they're in the thousands, and they're always the same, 4.5 stars plus. So everybody's always happy with the package. It doesn't disappoint people. They don't over boast it. They don't give you some crazy number to make you buy into it, and then it's like, okay, it's not bad. No, these are really, really good. And if anything, they underrate it, so this way it exceeds expectation when you get it home. There we go. So that's everything we've got when it comes to the 8-inch. Again, we'll play a little bit of it. I would recommend it. You listen to any music you have and you get a chance to listen to a set of speakers, listen to that music on these speakers. Outside of that, the microphone does it no justice. It's like I showed you in the demonstration. If I move that microphone half an inch this way, that way, it changes the sound completely. So, I mean, this is just more for reference sake. Please don't take what you hear off that microphone as fact.
my symphony. But there's so much noise around, so much noise around, constantly fighting for space. I need to clear my mind, need to clear my mind. I wanna be empty, be empty, be empty. A sparkle lights a fire, I'm high, I'm a butterfly, a blooming flower, but I am thirsty. A drop of water and the
So there you go. You got to play around with it. You got to see how much the microphone actually cuts in, cuts out, how subtle little changes change the acoustics altogether. So trust me when I say it always sounds better when you're in front of a pair. But if you have to make a choice now and you have to decide, hey, this is the right way to go, or maybe you want to see one of the other sides and compare the prices, by all means, we always have our links for Amazon down below, and that also includes, for everybody in Canada, our link here back to our website. So if you're in the States, have a look at our affiliate page. That's how we support this actual YouTube channel. So that's going to be pretty much it for the video today. If you got any questions or comments, leave them down below. I try and get back to people as I can, and hopefully other people can help answer it. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, I want to say thank you very much. So I'll say bye for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.